Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the only way to kickstart your morning. This is Good Morning Kenya and my name is Samuel Njoroge. Now, being a Thursday, one of the things that we do apart from dressing down is that we show up early, not to prep for the show as much as we have to take selfies, have a feel-good time before we actually serve you breakfast the best way. Only we know how, okay? It's Entertainment Thursday. We'll be focusing on matters entertainment. We will be profiling a couple of artists in the course of the show today for them to tell us how exactly their artistic journey has been so far, what have been the opportunities, the challenges, and most importantly, the way forward. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya at KBC Channel 1, as well as our individual Twitter handles. That is at Sam W. Njoroge, at Jane Wamboi, and at Ray Manyara. Welcome to the program. What a Thursday.
How are you?
Hey.
Good, great.
How are you?
Awesome.
Is that what they call a choker, a neck piece, a necklace? What is it?
A choker literally chokes you, goes by the name.
Aha. Hiyo ndio inakuanga tight hapa juu.
Hiyo.
Sawa sawa, necklace inashuka hapa chini kidogo. Okay, now
it goes diving.
all right. So what are you wearing? It's a neck piece.
I should think so.
Yeah. An African one.
Masai.
Looking gorgeous. Looking gorgeous.
Because it's Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the program. I am Jane Wamboi Kama Kawaida. Glad you are with us. As we always say, Thursday is the new Friday right here on Good Morning Kenya. We are so glad you choose to end your week with us as we have been journeying through the entire week from Monday up until today. It is Thursday and we just take things easy, and today we're also going to be having our trending topic segment, just looking at those stories that have been sumboying people on the social media streets, and more so this specific video of the alleged president of Guinea who was beating up one of his ministers for misappropriating COVID funds. Details of all that coming up in a bit, so keep it here. You don't want to miss out on that. We have the background to that particular story, what happened. So we're going to be letting you know all about that in not too long. Welcome once again.
Good morning once again. Glad to have you on board, and it is Entertainment Thursday. Now, digressing from matters politics, after that showdown at Jubilee House yesterday, where Deputy President William Ruto, who walked into Jubilee House, with the intention of wielding a candidate, changed all of a sudden. We said no sooner had he, well, things changed 2 hours later. But digressing from matters politics, if you were born in the 80s, if you're alive and still listening to jams, 80s, 90s, you must have come across this song that went like, what a bam bam? Yes, what a bam bam. I want to spell that word, B-A-M, B-A-M, not B-U-M. For
the
some
fact that you actually have to spell it out.
Yes, because I had you gasp. So yes, what a bamba. But now, most of us, this Kajara moment, and I'm saying that because we change often at times the lyrics and how we sing out those particular lyrics are two different things. So Kenyan, it became a hit, not just in Kenya, but globally. But Kenyans found it hard to say, actually, what a bam. And what did we say? Well, it went like, what a bamba. Yes. Now, the singer died on August 31st, but his song plays on. This will be coming up in not too long in the headlines.
Welcome. Now we get started with the first segment of the day. This is all about what is happening, or rather what has been captured on the different dailies this morning. We have the Daily Nation, the Standard, and a copy of the Star newspaper as well. Just taking you briefly through the stories that are taking center stage. Remember, you can share with us your thoughts about these particular stories using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle for the broadcasting house is KBC Channel 1, and our individual handles at Ray Manyara, at Sam W. Njoroge, and at Jane Wamboi. We now start with the Daily Nation and looking at the big read today. Matters politics, of course. With when it comes to politics, the DP grudgingly accepts a party's decision not to field a candidate in Raila's stronghold. Jubilee is said to have clipped Ruto's wings in the Kwale by-elections, and in just brief, he states of how the DP has been cornered. In his own words, he had his own views about them. Sambweni poll, where an aspirant, Ms. Charlotte Akinyi, was at Jubilee headquarters for clearance, but the handshake between President Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga settled the plan. He said, I had a different view of the party fielding a candidate in Msambweni because a decision has already been made and communicated, and we all stand by that decision. We'll be getting to the details of this particular story in not too long. But looking at the bottom of the front page of the Daily Nation right there, it talks of how Uhuru opposed the gender rule from the start. And yesterday we were told it is not the gender rule. Sidio Sam?
The gender principle.
The gender principle. There we go. But here he talks of how Uhuru opposed the gender rule from the start, with 416 senators and MPs who lose their seats if President Kenyatta does dissolve this particular parliament, with details of that coming up in a bit. Looking at the far top right of the Daily Nation, heartbreak for farmers as they are set to earn peanuts for their tea. They're going to be receiving lower bonuses this season due to the reduced international market price, which has come on the background of the pandemic that hit the entire global system. And looking at an opinion piece here where why MPs failed and they must all be sent home when it comes to supporting this two-thirds gender principle, and the fact that they took so long. They have never actually agreed on passing that particular principle. This particular opinion talks of how all these MPs should be sent home packing. Details coming up as we continue on with this segment.
Now, a quick overview on what we have captured on the Standard this morning is that issue of the CJ's advisory. Now, it seems that this might have just given the BBI a sword, literally. And the question is, on the front page of the Standard, did Maraga hand Uhuru the BBI sword? Now, the silver lining is that the opposition chief Raila and his troops, and as well as President Uhuru Kenyatta allies, seek refuge in BBI as Chief Justice Maraga alters the political arithmetic, which went now for anti-BBI MPs allied to Deputy President William Ruto. Quoted there on the front page of the Standard is ODM leader Raila Odinga says, we have been ushered into circumstances that require consensus, failing which may throw away the baby with the bathwater. In such circumstances, the Constitution gives power to citizens and to act directly and not through elected leaders to have their aspirations realized. Have we really done a lot of civic education and sensitization as to that fact that Wanjiku calls the shots? Well, we can all determine this. Every 5 years, we go out there, we elect those leaders, then we spend 5 more years criticizing and complaining that they're not doing what they were mandated to. So at what point do we change the narrative? That's a story about politics now, with succession politics just taking center stage within our political scene. And now, after yesterday's visit to Jubilee House by Deputy President William Ruto, so much social media was quite abuzz with what next for him. Will he be supporting Aisha Jomo? We'll be waiting to see. Now, Ruto indeed marched into the ruling party's headquarters yesterday with the intention to field a candidate for the Msambweni by-election. So what changed in 2 hours? Details will be coming up in not too long. Those are stories that have been given prominence on the front page of the Standard this morning.
Now heading on to the Star, where Kenyatta blocks Ruto and Raila poll showdown. That is the headline given prominence by this particular daily. A tightly knit plan caught DP off guard, forcing him to retreat. It's all about the upcoming Msambweni by-election, whose seat fell vacant after the death of the late MP, that is Suleiman Dori. May his soul continue resting in peace. And in that, we had ODM front a candidate and Jubilee to front a candidate. But I guess the plans started unraveling when Charlotte Akinyi, popularly known as Miriam, decided to defect from ODM early this week into Jubilee. Now, courtesy of that move, a political tussle was in the offing, and to avoid that, President Kenyatta, through a tightly knit plan, caught the DP off guard by having the party withdraw from fielding a candidate in the upcoming by-election. You could see the non-body language, all right, or the body language rather, and what exactly it meant, even as statements were made at the Jubilee headquarters right here in Pangani. Also, we had Miriam saying that the people of Msambweni deserve a candidate of their choice. They need to be given an opportunity to choose. And also the deputy president on a footnote did say, yeye Miriam akaniongelesha vizuri, I may decide to support her in one way or another. However, the deputy president, being the deputy party leader of Jubilee, said that now a decision has been made by the party. We have no option but to abide by it. That is the story on pages 6 to 7 of the Star this morning. Our ODM now gets a field day in Msambweni, poised to retain seat. But will they, owing to the fact that Suleiman Dori was at one point touted as a strong ally of the Deputy President, William Ruto? We shall be looking into that and covering that story in earnest for you in as far as the upcoming Msambweni by-election is concerned. Also, dissolution bid, the dilemma that the President finds himself in after the Chief Justice petitioned him to dissolve Parliament after it has failed to come up with legislation that will guide the country in realizing the two-thirds gender principle. That story is on pages 4 to 5 of the Star this morning. Also, it is time to expand the national cake, says Raila, as he was campaigning and convincing Kenyans to support the BBI because one of the provisions is to have the executive expanded. Will this sail through? Well, he says nobody can stop reggae. We'll see how far the beat goes in as far as coverage of this BBI story is concerned. And as far as the Sudi arrest drama is concerned, the DP guards now kicked out of Presidential Escort Division, and 3 Presidential Escort officers present during Kapsaret MP's Oscar Sudi's arrest have been removed from the unit. As far as the opinion pieces in the Star are concerned, we've got Wycliffe Muga today talking about the return of self-sufficiency doctrine. That is on page 20 of the Star this morning, and in a nutshell, that is the daily for you this Thursday.
Now let's start by getting into the details of what is in the Daily Nation, and we start with that particular story on the front page of the Nation in regards to how it is said that Uhuru opposed the gender rule from the start, and this goes way back to 2010. But let me just read for you what this, in brief, what this particular story has captioned, is that President Kenyatta, did have reservations about the prescribing quotas for a particular gender in the composition of elective posts, and this was back then when he was a deputy prime minister as well as in charge of the finance docket. It is said that Mr. Kenyatta did raise concerns during a meeting of lawmakers to discuss the draft constitution at the Great Rift Valley Lodge in Naivasha back in 2010. And it was at this particular meeting that MPs deleted an initial clause on gender, which was stated gender equity in elected bodies, and replaced it with a more specific requirement, which they have failed to implement, prompting the dissolution of Parliament in this day and time we are in. Now, looking at a Parliamentary Select Committee on Constitutional Review, members at that time, they unanimously approved insertion of the not more than 2/3 of members of an elected body shall be of a particular gender. Now, continuing with this particular clause, and the contradiction that there came in is that the then vice chairman, or according to what Mr. Kenyatta said at that time, is that help me understand how that principle that you want to incorporate there in 2B sits with the same Article 43, where deliberation on political rights of citizens, and this basically talks about everyone has the right to go for any public elected poll, any public health position. You have the right to vie if you meet the qualifications, and therefore arguing that this particular gender principle, referred to as the gender rule, was in contradictory to that particular requirement of the Constitution. Now, he further on went to say that we have said that every citizen has the right to free, fair, regular elections for any elective public body or office that has been established under this Constitution. So help me understand how these two are going to sit together in this particular constitution. And that is the reservation that is being brought out in this particular story, saying that, His Excellency had doubts about this particular principle from the get-go, and the fact that it was not ironed out is what has led to these problems that we are in today, because it has never been implemented, given that it was now put the way it was put, that one gender, not more than 2/3 of members of an elected body shall be of either gender. And also speaking to this was Mr. Abdikadir, who said that, I agree that we cannot force voters to select one person or another, but parties can be forced to nominate one way or the other during primaries. Now, this is what is bringing this back and forth when it comes to this proposal to dissolve Parliament, with now critics bringing this particular argument up, saying, looking at what His Excellency had, his reservations he had back in 2010, maybe we should have addressed it then and back in 2010, and we wouldn't be having these problems today.
Now to the Standard, let's talk about matters politics. But now I think these are leaders doing what they often do, unfortunately, and this is behaving badly. Now, an MCA was injured in a fight over Obado's ouster. Now, the ward representative was yesterday injured, while several others, scampered for safety after chaos erupted at the Migori County Assembly. Now, Obado is facing corruption charges in which he's accused of indirectly receiving over 73 million shillings through his children, who received multiple payments from companies trading with Migori County government. And although the notice is yet to be tabled in the House, an ODM MCA who sought anonymity said they have already kicked off the process and have started drafting the grounds for impeachment. And talking about issues of graft, embezzlement of funds and such, begs the question, so we leaders are getting hurt defending other leaders who have been indicted on graft. So then who is missing out? Who is losing in this scuffle as far as the Migori County leadership is concerned? Well, that's for you to answer. That's a rhetoric for you. Now we cross over, still keeping up with matters politics, is that Malala, in a new turn of events, has been told to apologize. Now, the Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, has demanded that Senator Cleophas Malala apologizes for falsely accusing the police. Further, he dismissed claims of a threat to Malala's life and demanded that the senator make a public apology to the police unit he accused of plotting to kill him. Now, we all remember that Malala caused a stir when he took to the Senate and claimed and actually broke down and said that his life was in danger. In a turn of events, now Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, has demanded that Senator Cleophas Malala makes a public apology. Will he?
Well, will he? It's a wait and see.
Let's wait and
situation.
see.
Guys,
Yeah.
You remember, right? Kijana Fupi round. Mulumulwas.
Yes.
One of the issues why West Pokot Governor, that is John Lonyangapuo, had issues with Mulumulwas is that he was going round the county talking about, one of the things he was talking about was Nicholas Atudonyang. Now, Atudonyang is the deputy governor of the county government of West Pokot. However, it is alleged that he has been practicing medicine in Texas since 2018. But the governor came to his strong defense and said that he sent him there to procure medical equipment and to negotiate for proper medical and health deals for the county, which has benefited since Atudonyang's, mission in Texas or the larger U.S. began. However, the Intergovernmental Relations Committee of the Senate wants nothing to do with it. And in a drastic move, they called on the County Assembly of West Pokot to impeach Deputy Governor Atudonyang on grounds that he is an absentee DG. He has been practicing medicine since 2018. Ray, Fupi round. Or is it Watabamba?
Yeah.
So what a bum thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that story is on page 3 of the Star for you. It's the twists and turns in as far as the West Pokot County politics is concerned. Will the MCAs now heed to the call of this select committee of the Senate and impeach Deputy Governor Atudonyang owing to the fact that he's been absent from office? Let me not say office. He's been absent physically from office since 2018. Will this move sail or will it flop?
Since 2018.
Yes, since 2018. That is quite literally immediately after the elections, almost immediately after the elections. And he vamoosed. But the governor has been saying that, yo, I have deployed him there because health is one of my key cornerstones for this particular county. I want to leave West Pokot being well facilitated in as far as health equipment and infrastructure is concerned. And instead of him being in office, and the Constitution gives him a lot of nothing to do, let me give him something to do. And initially, he appointed him as the CEC in charge of health, after which he deployed him to the US to allegedly procure and get into partnerships and deals with hospitals in the US to ensure that those partners are able to supply proper medical equipment to West Pokot hospitals and also gather funding to upgrade as well as come up with new health facilities within the county. I think it is proper we do an audit on West Pokot and see how the health sector has improved or not improved in that sector, in that county, since the deployment of Atudonyang to the US. Then after that, we can decide whether or not his absence from office was worth it, and thus move forward and institute a motion of impeachment, if at all he has done a lot of nothing. But when the governor was talking about Mulumuluas, he said that Atudonyang's presence in the US has actually benefited West Pokot.
How? I have several questions in my head right now.
Ground.
Yes. Does he still earn a salary? And in light of this global pandemic, since he's been there procuring deals for the last 2 years, so does West Pokot have the state-of-the-art hospitals? Do they have the doctors? I mean,
and why haven't you even heard of it?
Maybe
it's doing so well. I mean,
maybe the reason why
we always talk of how counties need to benchmark from each other. And given health is one of the big four agenda, part of the big four agenda, I mean, we should have heard something by now, hearing how West Pokot is at the forefront dealing with cancer. We don't hear any more maternal death cases.
On the flip side, Jane, maybe we are the ones who have ignored the narrative. Maybe we are the ones who've not taken initiative as members of the fourth estate to get there and ascertain the situation on the ground. Therefore, this now becomes a good fodder for content. Get to West Pokot, find out, Atudonyang, way down the line, have you done what you were supposed to do? Are these sentiments valid? Those that are coming from the governor, that he deployed you there so that you are able to assist in procurement and of good health equipment or medical equipment, as well as facilitate health partnerships that are going to grow the county? Or are these senators and a section of MCAs valid in saying that, you've not been in office since 2018, you've been on a salary, we don't see you, and most importantly, you have been practicing medicine in Texas since 2018.
I think 2 years is since 2018. It's too long a time to not have gotten wind of any progress that may have been made in
But
West
maybe
Pokot.
they have.
Chema Chajiuza?
Let me also flip this around. And I'm not holding brief. I'm not holding brief for Lonyangapuo or Atudonyang. If there was a problem, MCAs wa hiyo area wangekuwa wamepiga kelele.
Uko sure?
Wangekuwa wamepiga kelele.
Uko sure na kuna watu
Let me tell you, the working of politics is such that as much as there is an office in place, as much as there is a person manning that office, there's so many people out there who want the same office.
But what if they're benefiting from that absence as well?
They try and look for areas of lacuna to attack the administration. The only thing we had was from Mulumuluas, who's not even in government. And once the deputy president made a tour of the area, he said, nimesikia governor analeta shida kuhusu hii kijana fupi round. Mwambie aache kusumbua miradi ya serikali, akuje kwangu nitapatia ye kazi. That is what the DP said once he visited the area. So maybe we need to do a spot check, as we love saying in the media, and reveal whether or not these sentiments are valid, guys.
But for now, we take it with a pinch of salt.
No, we just take it with I won't call it a pinch. We give it the weight it deserves. We give it the weight it deserves. Even as we take a break, you know, help Regina, Jane, and myself take a breather, but don't go anywhere. Good Morning Kenya returns after these messages.
Yote ndawaidu iko tu sawa kwa macho yako.
Unataka kuwako?
Ati nini? Why are you people shouting?
Are you okay?
Mwanamke wewe ninakuona sana. Ni wanaume hapa Mombasa wameisha.
Ni nini mbaya? Nowadays we have so many unfaithful people.
What?
Need to talk about her every time we are together.
And be very careful the way you address me.
Zako zinakuangaje? Huwezi kaa dakika mbili hata bila kuteta.
You will all sign new contracts.
And I am supposed to be briefed.
What?
Taki ujinga.
Oof.
You're still working for Nancy? Who, your mother? Do we know any other Nancy? Well, I'd never work with that selfish woman.
Could you please just concentrate for 1 second and put down your phone?
Yo, listen. I'm trying my best here. I'm tired. Of what?
Being used apparently.
How much did she promise you? Lakini huku ni kwa dosi kuruka.
Usilete hizo tabia zako za ghetto mtaa.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Ash clouds we saw over Iceland are nothing compared to what's going to happen next.
Firefighters are attempting to contain the infernos.
You really need to start evacuating as much as possible. Of Wyoming? Of North America?
Two experts
Tell me what your plan is to stop it.
racing against time
You would need to inject this directly into the magma.
to battle mankind's greatest threat, Earth itself.
All right then, let's do it. Josh, quickly move!
Nobody gets left behind. Gotta get out of here, okay?
The end is just the beginning. Super Eruption. This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Anaambie vipi uliko kutuma unaonana naye deputy governor?
Ndio, deputy governor mimi nilimuona. Wataka kulipwa pesa ngapi?
Boss, kulingana na vile niko na shida, kwa naomba pesa yote utakayoiona itanifaa unilipe hiyo.
Nakuona. Jamani, hiyo sauti sinanifanya najisikia niko mbingu ya 7.
Welcome back. Yeah, I know you like that. We're back, and thank you so much for your company and your time this far. This is Entertainment Thursday, right here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Samuel Njoroge. In the meantime, we're reviewing the dailies, getting to know what exactly is shaping headlines across the country this Thursday. As far as COVID-19 is concerned, that story is covered for you on page 10 of the Star today. And COVID-19 crisis to result in 534,000 deaths due to HIV. And ministry now admits all health facilities have been without crucial antiretroviral medicine for 7 months thus far. The admission came through the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Health, that is Dr. Mercy Mwagangi. And this is after a WHO report which projected an additional 534,000 AIDS-related deaths in sub-Saharan Africa as a result of treatment disruption due to COVID-19. As you have observed over this week and other weeks prior, the ministry has been keen to talk about other dimensions that have been affected by COVID-19. Yesterday, or the day before the previous, they were talking about dementia. Yesterday, they were talking about HIV. At some point, they were talking about mental health, the element of research, and the lack of reagents in the country. So various angles that have affected the fight against the pandemic in the country this far, and also as an eye-opener to you when it comes to citizen responsibility. Where exactly do you come in? If you've got one of these patients, or if you can come in and address one of these dimensions that are sort of halting or challenging the fight against the pandemic in the country is concerned, then you know what to do. You need to rise to the occasion, all right? But for now, 534,000 deaths could be what the sub-Saharan Africa region will be witnessing, and this is due to the absence of ARVs for a record 7 months now due to the COVID-19 situation in the country. That story is on page 10 of the Star this morning. Yeah, it is. Very, very sad. And mental health, dementia, then this. You know, you just take a look at the vulnerable in society and how this pandemic has affected them, and how those patterns have inevitably affected the larger scale of trying to flatten the curve. And it thus emphasizes the need for citizen responsibility. I mean, if you've got one of these vulnerable groups, either as your family, your friend, your close guardian or something, please remember to rise to the occasion and know that your little effort, your hummingbird move, could actually save the day in as far as this is concerned. Hey, nasikia kama nimepreach. Paka congregation saa hii inaniangalia zote. Hallelujah. Right? Over to you.
Now, let's
Jane.
continue with still on that COVID-19 conversation and look at issues to do with corruption and the fight against graft here in Kenya. It is now emerging that 25 KEMSA suppliers of files that have mysteriously vanished. This is in part of the corruption commitment by EACC that has been ongoing in the fight against corruption in trying to establish how 300 million worth of supplies that went to 13 companies that the EACC is now investigating. And just getting into the details of this particular story is that there's some 25 companies that supply COVID-19 items and are now missing, even as the government targets collective 80 farms in ongoing investigations into the loss of billions of shillings that were meant to fight the pandemic. Now, according to the EACC, they told a joint Senate ad hoc committee on COVID that they are looking into how 13 farms were supplied materials worth 300 million and they were not awarded, and they were awarded the tenders. And speaking to this was Mr. Mwaniki, who told a virtual committee yesterday that once we are done with this 13, we will now go on to the rest, just trying to establish if the law was followed. Mr. Mahmoud of EACC detectives also said that they are investigating firms that expressed interest to supply the coronavirus-related items to the Kenya Medical Supply Agency, but did not succeed as well. What went wrong? Why did not they get those tenders? And if they also followed the legal path, the legal channel when it comes to acquiring these tenders. Now, according to the commission as well, they added that some of the acts that were violated include the 2013 Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, the 2015 Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act, and the Public Finance Management Acts. They were all violated by KEMSA managers when it came to giving these tenders. Now, he further on went to say that there were 25 companies that supplied KEMSA with COVID-19 related items, but they cannot be traced despite pocketing billions and billions of shillings. Their files seem to have mysteriously vanished, and that has raised a lot of questions in regards to this ongoing investigation. And according to a report that was tabled by the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority at the Senate Committee, it indicated that details of the farms are missing from the files that were submitted to the authority. And KEMSA had submitted documents showing that out of 141 companies that were tendered, only 116 were submitted. The rest, the remaining 25, are now raising questions, and they're now being called as faceless companies, and just trying to find out where those documents went. And this is termed as a blow when it comes to this investigation. However, the detectives are committed to getting to the bottom of this particular situation. How can documents just mysteriously vanish when they are being transported from one point to the other?
Now still keeping up with matters of COVID, but now focusing on the education sector. And this is going to be a precursor to the conversation we're about to have with various stakeholders, especially parents and teachers, as well as students and pupils, ahead of the phased reopening of schools. Now, during yesterday's brief, Health CS Mutahi Kagwe was quoted saying that the first phase of the reopening will give learners time to acclimatize with the health protocols in schools before learning officially starts. And quote unquote, if there are challenges that we are going to face, let us face them at that stage. Parents, teachers, various stakeholders have given their reservations in regard to this. But hey, teachers have been asked to report to school on Monday so that they can work on the modalities to ensure that these areas, these institutions are safe for learners before the resumption of face-to-face learning. You know, it has been 6 months on, and we don't know what you think. I don't know, as a parent myself, I am not so sure I'll be sending my child back to school. I think I need to wait and see how it plays out. But that's just my opinion. And in comparing to the studies that have so far been made, and this is an article that has been captured on page 12 for the Standard this morning, is that compared to adaptive immunity, which allows the body to come up with specific antibodies against pathogens, innate immunity works in a general way. And the findings suggest that children with COVID-19 do better than adults because their stronger innate immunity protects them against SARS-CoV-2, the novel coronavirus that causes the disease. This is according to a senior author, Betsy Henshold, the chief of infectious diseases and vice chair of research in the Department of Pediatrics at Einstein and Chow. So children do better than adults, but is that a reason enough to trust that they're going to be okay once the schools reopen? That's a conversation we're going to be having in not too long on the Kids Talk segment, where we're just going to be engaging various stakeholders in to find out what is their take on the planned reopening of schools, and the phased reopening and return of face-to-face learning. Are we ready? What's your take? Remember, our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1 News.
Guys, I have such an interesting story here.
As do I. Oh my God.
What is this happening in Afghanistan?
Oh, you took
Listen
it all
to
the
this.
way. Mm-hmm.
You know, right here in the country, we're having this conversation around the two-thirds gender principle. This is what is happening in Afghanistan. Now, for the longest time, there's this, he's a religious studies graduate, 28-year-old, old Yani. Her name is Lale Osmani. She's been running this campaign of Where is My Name? And it's all about having a mother's name included in the ID. Mmenisikia hapo? Jina ya mama ingie kwa kitambuli?
Sure.
Now that request was granted, and this is why it is newsworthy, especially coming from Afghanistan, because due to some of their religious and traditional and cultural practices, in some areas it's actually taboo to even mention a woman's name. Ati mama yangu ni. All right. So it goes ahead and says, I'll take a quote from one of the people who are reacting to this. It's a man. He says, his name is, I hope I pronounced this right, Akbar Aga, who says the inclusion, this is a travesty, the inclusion of a mother's name on electronic IDs would be a disgrace and a dishonor for Afghans who have served as an official during that. Akbar Aga served as an official during the Taliban rule, told a gathering to discuss reconciliation in the city of Herat last week, because the Taliban wing is trying to come back into government, and there are actually negotiations that are currently ongoing in that regard. But her Where is My Name campaign has been heard by the courts in this country, and they have ruled that moving forward, a mother's name will be included in the electronic ID of each and every child. But a section of political and religious leaders are having nothing to do with it, saying, even as per our culture, the mere mention of a woman's name is taboo.
Kind of progressive policies that we need.
What?
For that child to exist.
Huh?
For a child to exist.
It takes two to tangle.
But one to lead the tango. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But.
Two tango, whoever
But let's
leads,
not discuss the tango right now.
The vessel that brings forth life is one and only one.
That's what I'm saying. One has to lead the tango. But also, I don't understand, and I guess this is the conversation we were having yesterday here during Viewpoint. I mean, some of the external factors that are even guiding the conversation around the two-thirds gender principle have nothing to do with progression, have nothing to do with legislation, have nothing to do with parliament, executive, or judiciary. It just boils down to society and how we've treated matriarchy over time.
Yep.
Favoring patriarchy.
It's crazy that there are sections in this world, 2000 and late, that you can't even associate yourself with your mother. As soon as you mention her name, that's taboo.
Especially in the presence.
That's what I'm saying, like 2000 and late. It's 2020. This is bigger than Corona, guys. This is a serious pandemic. We hope it doesn't spread to the rest of the world.
A societal pandemic.
We just hope it doesn't spread to the rest of the world.
Need I remind you that early this year, that's when women were actually allowed to drive in Saudi. Drive. Yes.
But at least that is political. You know, the family is the basic social unit of a society.
You have a long way to go.
And then unaniambia, I can't associate myself with my own mom.
I'd want to know.
Because it's a taboo.
Taboo because
taboo for who?
Okay.
You know,
where?
It's the way,
how?
Even here in Kenya, you know, in as much as it's not as pronounced, when and I have seen this so many times, when you meet a guy who has his mother's name as part of his official name, guys are like, "Ay, kwani unaitwa hivyo? Kwani uko na jina?"
Remember Wanjiko? Let's
you know?
Remember the late, athlete Wanjiko.
Wanjiro.
Wanjiro, sorry, Wanjiro.
Yeah.
Wanjiro. When you first heard that we have a male athlete
called
Wanjiro, what is your first
People
name?
question that.
No, this is the place it gets, and I say, you know what? Society candle. If the show was not rated PG, I would have probably said something else. But you know what? Society candle, please do you. There is no way.
Do you?
There is no way you're separating me from my mother.
Kaboom.
Power to
I just
our
said it.
mother.
Can we say your mama's boy? Anyway, yeah, to avoid not being
Yes, I am. Who isn't?
Who isn't?
Every
That's the
man in
question.
this, yeah, who isn't?
Is my brother
Every
watching?
man in this world was born of a woman. So yes, I am. Proudly so.
Proudly so.
It is what it is.
You need to meet my brother.
I need to meet you.
Yes, my
Your
brother.
brother.
I hope he's watching.
Ungependa kumwambia nini leo brother?
Nilimwambia yeye ni mama's boy,
Ni mama's
akakasirika
boy.
sana. Alikasirika akasema hiyo maneno hataki kusikia, yeye ni boys. Yes,
Nini
ni
mama
mama's
kata?
boy. Imagine.
Be
Nataka
proud
kuitwa
of it.
mama's boy.
Be proud of it. All
Be
the way
proud.
up. Itapi iko Afghanistan, honestly. And kudos to Leila Osmani for this
Progress.
Where Is My Name campaign. And as of now, it is not legally impossible to have your mother's name included in your documents in as far as Afghanistan law and order is concerned. So even as we fight for the gender principle here, while there are people with serious issues, and we wish them all the best.
All right. And talking of people who have serious issues, Ray, we were just talking about this story, this incident that happened in Wasingishu, where this duo admitted to killing and burying their disabled 3-year-old daughter.
Yep.
People have issues. So the lady is called Charity Cheruto, aged 21. And the gent in this particular incident is Mr. Timothy Lihanya, aged 28. Now, according to the account that this lady gave, that is Charity, she said that Mr. Bitok made her commit the crime so as to save their love. So what did they do? They killed the 3-year-old baby girl who was physically disabled and buried her at around 8 p.m. in the forest. And this happened on the 20th of September. Now, suspicion arose from the neighbors who noticed that the baby girl was missing because they have been seeing how she wasn't being treated as humane as she deserved, because they say she used to be locked in the house and they would go about the activities and they would go for long extended periods without coming back to attend to the little girl, and she wasn't as cared for as she should given her physical condition. So when neighbors saw the girl had been missing for some time, they started asking her, where's the baby? Then she started giving different stories. And one time she actually said that, she's gone to stay with a relative. But one of the neighbors was very suspicious about that whole situation. And this is what actually the guy was saying, was now telling the neighbors that, ameenda kana shemeji atarudi after a while. So the neighbors decided to report this particular case to the chief, who then went personally to inquire about the whereabouts of this girl, and after smelling a rat in their story, he pressured them until they got to confess and actually took him to where this little girl was buried.
Sad. I know.
Okay, let me speak as a mom, as a parent, and I'm imagining a situation where someone who wants to marry me, to solemnize their relationship with me, wants me to get rid of my first child so that we can start afresh. I'm really trying not to curse. As we said, this is a PG general viewing kind of show, but what kind of madness is that? What you smoking? A mother cannot choose between her 2 children. Whether this one came first or last, middle, from Afghanistan, Kenya, it doesn't really matter. A mom is a mom. So for a man to ask, and I'm just thinking, what went through this woman's head for her to actually be part of the heinous act, to take away a life that she brought forth and took care of for the last 3 years? Who does that?
It happens.
And every time I hear a story that a mother has killed a child, I totally call it naivety or something, but I believe that there's a backstory, that you cannot be mentally sane as a mom to actually kill your own child. I refuse to believe it can actually happen. But now, with this story from Wasingishu, where someone wants to come into your life, you're actually pregnant. The lady is expectant. So they wanted to do away with the 3-year-old girl and start afresh.
Because she was physically
Now,
impaired.
let's broaden the conversation a bit, all right? And in the interest of balance, I'm not holding brief for anyone. Do you remember that a wedding story we were having a couple of weeks ago?
About?
Brother and sister getting married,
yes.
and the parents sitting there assuming that like nothing is happening at the altar right now, you know, turning a blind eye to everything. Do you know there are families in this country where a daughter gives birth to a kid, anampatia mamake ale, yeye anaenda kuolewa, lakini in an effort not to spoil the marriage, they will never say that this is your son or this is your daughter. Now the child, they will actually assimilate the child to believe that ni sister yake. You get? And it all boils down to one thing. I don't know whether to put it on a billboard, do an email, CC the entire... When you find yourself liberated from making decisions based on what society will think, you have arrived at extremely dangerous levels of freedom, which are necessary for you in the 21st century. People are doing very heinous things in the name of what will people think, what will people say. Liberation, guys.
Tutaambia watu nini?
What utaambia watu nini? Ulisikia wapi?
Can you imagine the child watching the mother either strangle her or hit her? Can you imagine the pain?
You're old, man.
The pain, the bewilderment. She couldn't understand what is happening because this is a person who's taken care of her since birth. This is mom.
It is
and
wrong.
Now you're giving me an ultimatum.
No, I'm looking at the child when this act was being committed upon her, yeah? What was going on through her head?
And to make it worse, she was physically disabled. So she's not even in a position to actually express, how
herself.
she felt or even cry out for help if she wasn't able to.
Is this the same society that locks up disabled people?
Absolutely.
She was being them locked like up in animals the house. Because they will face shame and humiliation from society if they expose them.
Even the other day, there was this gentleman, he was in his 70s, who was locked up in a room by his own brother.
Yeah, the one who was rescued by Sankok.
Yes.
Right, the MP. The one who was rescued by Sankok, I think it was a month or two ago. I mean, and we wonder why people are walking around.
That was about property.
Yeah, and we're wondering why people are walking around the streets depressed, stressed, you know, with personality disorders. It's these things because you're a product of the society that raises you. And if you allow too much of what other people think to infiltrate your identity, damn. Sorry.
Anyway, this story has just left a very bad taste in my mouth. It's going to take a while to get over. But now this lady who is now going to be jailed. You're going to give birth to an innocent child within the confines of a cell because you did not stand up and get counted to be a mom. Why did you want to be just, completion? You do not have to have someone in your life for you to be complete. You can be complete from within. You are made in God's image. You should embrace that. You're alive. You're healthy. Why would you think that this man coming into your life is going to make you be a bigger person than you are or a better person than you are?
That's how people think, Regina.
I can speak Kimeru right now.
It's I'm on the verge of starting. Like what?
But that's why people say, Siju, you are my happiness, you complete me, you are everything to me.
Leave that for Hollywood.
Yada, 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 yada. But let me tell you, if you're not happy from within, you will never be. But some people are honestly so destroyed. At times when they come across something real, they're unable to recognize it.
It's because they have gone through the rigors of so much bad that for them to actually trust that this thing is genuine, this thing is real, the person who's coming into them at that point needs more than just a little patience.
And they become vulnerable to that person.
Yes.
The solution to that is clear, simple. We've said it on this set. high standards will protect you from low quality experiences.
Kaboom.
And those high standards needs to start from the living setup, your home setup. Because I think as parents, we have a very big role when it comes to how we shape our children, how we prepare them for life. My dad always tells us, make sure your kids have a better life than you. And when he talks about a better life, it's not just about what you provide for them. A wholesome child who has better values, who has a better system of how they can take care of themselves, such that your child, in your absence, you know that my child will stand.
And choose you. Always choose you. Hata watu wakisema at it will end in tears. Kwani it's their tears. Kwani machozi ni yao. Allah.
Or they'll call you selfish.
Yeah, nah, there's a difference between being selfish
and
right?
self-love.
Yeah, and self-love. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. But in this society, people treat confidence as arrogance.
Yes.
Self-love
and the other
as
way
being
around.
selfish. By the way, behave like you.
Play like you.
Yeah, and play like you.
All right.
And see how life changes for the better.
Absolutely. Show yourself more love. Normalize the luxury in your own life in the different forms that it may come.
Jipende.
Jilove.
Jiheshimu. You know?
Me representing the ghetto here. Jilove. Kajalove.
Okay, so.
And on that note, let's take a break.
There we go.
We'll be right back with more of Good Morning Kenya.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1 for a program that is objective and offers answers to matters economic, security, social, political, food, infrastructure, and setting the agenda. Join us for Charging Currents.
The livestock keepers of the arid lands in northern Kenya who have now embraced farming are standing to be counted.
Wakati tulianza ilimaliza kujenga hii greenhouse, tulianza kupanda haba kwa nyanya.
Watch it on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
People gonna say all kind of things about you.
We them on. Shake up. Need to mushie one, done to mushie one. When your booty got show me now.
Baby, one time. Bossy baby, give me 2 times. Full 180. Crazy.
Trago ya la botella. Let's go.
Ha. I needed some with some bop in it.
Mamacita, where you at? I've been trying to reach you.
Choro, 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 choro. Te pago, te pago, mo, te pago.
Katoto shepu awe, ayawe, ayawe.
Tekenya katoto, kamini tekenya, tekenya.
On the next episode of
Mzee Masudi, we tuheshimiane. Wewe unaona mimi nauza watu sio?
Wewe Unamjua mimi mwenyewe nina miaka 18, nina passport, nina ID. Wewe mimi ni mtu mzima. Upo? Zuena.
Sasa unataka nini wewe? Unataka nini?
Unaniaibisha yule. Zuena, mbona unaniaibisha hivyo wewe?
Tujali kazi zenu
Next on.
So you're still working for Nancy? Who, your mother? Do we know any other Nancy? Well, I'd never work with that selfish woman.
Could you please just concentrate for 1 second and put down your phone?
Yo, listen. I'm trying my best here. I'm tired. Of what?
Being used apparently.
How much did she promise you?
Lakini huku ni kwa dosi kuruka.
Usilete hizo tabia zako za ghetto mtaa.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tutaangua vifaranga tukitumia incubator, kisha tukuze tomato.
Kazi ya kuku nimeianza huo mwaka wa 2015 na kile kilinifanya nianze kazi ya kuku kwa sababu niliona kama hiyo ndio biashara unaweza fanya kuanzia na pesa yote yenye uko nayo.
Basi ungana nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 kamili tukupe mseto kamili wa kilimo.
Good morning. Once again, glad that you still are with us. As we say, this is Entertainment Thursday, and this Thursday is our Friday right here. The best way to start your morning is on Good Morning Kenya. I'm Regina Manyara. Now, during yesterday's press briefing, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said that he said that the first phase of the reopening of schools will give learners time to acclimatize with the health protocols in schools before learning starts officially. That sets the background of our conversation this morning on hashtag KBC Kids Talk. So back to school, are we ready? Are you comfortable? Remember, teachers have been asked to report to school on Monday ahead of this planned phased reopening and resumption of face-to-face learning. Are we ready? As a parent, guardian, teacher, student and pupil, we want to hear your take in regard to this matter and so much more, especially on the issue of the curriculum. We have candidates, KCP, KCSE candidates. We have teachers who do not reside within the school premises. We have shared facilities within the schools. Can we maintain social distancing in the dining halls? Are we going to have other dormitories built to accommodate, or rather just, to adhere with the laid down health protocols? What about shared bathrooms for those who have shared bathrooms? We have all that and so much more. All of these questions we want to ask and hear your feedback and response to this particular proposed, or rather, replanned reopening and return of face-to-face learning. This morning, my first guest, remember that we are live on KBC Channel 1 and our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. And our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1 News. Mine is at Ray Manyara. I have Sam W. Njoroge as well as Jane Wamboye as my colleagues. So you can reach out to them. We're going to be sampling your feedback on both our social media platforms, individually and also on our station's handle. Introducing my first guest this morning, we have Mabel from Kajiado. Good morning, Mabel. How are you?
Good morning, Regina. How are you?
Great. How about you just give us a brief introduction of who Mabel is, like which line of work are you currently engaged in?
Well, Mabel is currently working with the Manangu Sacco. Manangu Sacco is a Sacco dealing with investment in children and youth empowerment. And we are majorly based in Kajiado County, but we are setting out to reach out to all kids all through the world. Yes.
Thank you, Mabel. So, what is your take on this, planned phased reopening of schools? What is your take?
Well, Regina just left from last week, as I had said. I don't think parents are ready to have schools to be reopened. Maybe some are, majorly most of them are not, because they are unprepared. Many parents have chewed their school fees to their kids, unfortunately or fortunately, and especially majority of the kids that we have around in our country, Kenya, right now, most of them, we wouldn't really say that they're in the middle class, the high sections, middle class of living. So the majority of the kids that have really been affected are the kids in middle class kwenda chini that have been affected, and it's not going to be easy for their parents to just send their kids back to school, especially putting into consideration the fact that they've not even been reached. These parents have not been reached, the kids have not been reached, they've not been sensitized on matters COVID-19.
Thank you very much, Mabel, weighing in on this conversation. Back to school, are we ready? According to Mabel, parents are not ready because issues of school fees and the issue of lack of sensitization on the health protocols and the readiness. Now, let's find out from a candidate, a would-be candidate who from Mombasa County, that is none other than 14-year-old Ruth Oguna. Her take on regard into the phased reopening of schools. Good morning, Ruth. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good myself. So what is your take about this planned reopening of schools?
As for me, I think it's going to be good because I miss learning in class with everyone, but it won't be the same. It will be somehow just like being at home, but you're back with other people. Though it's going to be very difficult because the guidelines which are to be there in schools, it's not going to be easy, especially the nursery school, the grades, the children who are in the lower grades. It's not going to be easy, and plus the boarding schools, are they going to assure that all the guidelines are followed? And it's not going to be easy. There are not going to be such things as assembly or playing in the field, and I don't think that's what a school was actually meant to be. So I don't know how it's going to work out, but either way, whether school opens or closes, I'm going to go to school either way.
I like your confidence. Whether they open the schools or not, you're ready to go back to school. That is a positive way to look at it. Personally, as Ruth Oguna, what are you going to do in your individual capacity to ensure that you're safe within the school environment? And there's an article here just to mention one of the contributors to the Standard this morning said that the safety of the learners solely falls on the individual themselves. How are you going to ensure that you're safe during this time when you're going to be embarking on your studies?
Well, it's true. They're saying that it depends on the individual themselves, and you as an individual, making yourself protected is by telling others what you know. You can be protecting yourself, yet you're letting someone else go, and it's not like you're the one who has the virus. It's someone else who gives it to you. So what you know about the virus and how it's going to be spread in the guidelines, tell a friend to tell a friend so that you keep each other safe.
Very well said. Thank you for that challenge. Thank you for weighing in on this conversation this morning. Back to school, are we ready? That is 14-year-old Ruth Oguna, who would have been a candidate this year. But now, because schools have been closed, we are not so sure if she's going to be taking her exams in 2020. Now we cross over to Kiambu County, where we have Kamau and Rugoro. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great.
How are you?
I'm good. Yourselves?
We are fine.
Great to have you on board. I don't know who I'll start with. Is it Rogoro? Yes, we start with the ladies. So Rogoro, what do you have to say in regard to, the planned reopening of schools?
To me, if I'm ready, but I'm freaking out because the little kids, we are told the little kids are going to school with us. So I'm freaking out because they are they might not obey the rules because there are others which are many, and other schools have many children, but as we are told, they will build other classes. So to me, I'm ready for school. My parent is also ready. She's preparing our school fees for me and my brother. And for my family, we are okay with the opening of schools, and we are going to obey the rules.
Thank you very much, Ruguru. I'm really happy that your parents are ready and not falling into the category of parents who are saying they do not have, they've already eaten their school fees, or Mekula school fees. That is good that you're confident that you're going to go back to school. But you've also raised a question about the other students with you, if they are going to be ready to adhere to the laid down protocols. You are ready, but you're not so sure about the ones that you attend school with are going to be doing so. Let's hear if your brother has the same sentiments. Good morning, Kamau. How are you?
I'm fine.
Great. Now, Kamau, what is your take about the phased reopening of schools?
I think it is not good that they are not going to follow the rules, and they are not going to be teachers of in 24 hours guidelines, and because of borders who don't even commit social distance. Even they are not sure that the coronavirus has ended, so it is not safe to go back to school. My parents are not ready. They are not saying that we can go to school. They are not ready because they don't have money because of the coronavirus pandemic. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That is quite a mouthful there, Kamau. And you have said you are not so sure. The issue is that you're not so sure the rules are going to be followed in terms of the health protocols, and you're also saying that teachers are not also safe. So in your personal opinion, Kamau, what do you think needs to be done to ensure that you and your sister are safe once you get back to school?
There shall be social distance. Then we shall not go to the dining hall. They shall serve us in our classrooms and be safe. Even have social distance. They should learn, and they should even wash their hands after they are visiting the toilet.
Mm-hmm. So social distancing and maintaining high levels of hygiene. Now, Kamau, kindly tell us how old you are and also how old your sister is.
I'm 12 years old, and my sister is also 10 years old.
Thank you very much for your contribution this morning in regard to our current topic. Introducing our next guest. Now we are joined by our next guest this morning to weigh in on this conversation. Back to school, are we ready? Now this is Executive Director of CAC. Good morning, Timothy. How are you?
Good morning, Regina. And just listening into what the children are saying.
Yes. Now, from what you have heard, the children are saying they miss learning with the fellow students, but they are worried about the other students just adhering to the safety protocols. That is 12-year-old Kamau and Ruguru, as well as a 14-year-old Oguna. As a guardian, as a parent, and the person who already works within the children value chain, if you can say that, what is your take about this planned reopening, phased as it may be, but the reopening of schools in this time?
I think as a parent and as a parent who has children going to school, I want to say that it is important to have a clear plan of how children are going back. And we better have a clear roadmap. And actually, it's too late. We should have started this roadmap long time ago, not even today or this month in October, so that we can be able to actually plan for our children. And the other thing is that I'm happy that KBC, you are talking to the children. That is the missing voice. We hear so much from the ministry, from the adults, and we're also missing the voice of politicians and missing the voice of the entire government. but we missed the voice of the children. And I'm happy with Kamau and Ruth and what they are saying. I think their views are very important because they're the ones who are going to be in school. And I wish you could also have the views of the teachers so that whatever we are doing right now, we can be able to prepare well. Children have stayed away from school for a very long time, from March up to now. And it should not be an emergency right now for them to go to school. We just need to have a clear roadmap with clear landmarks in an organized way so that when the schools resume, we don't have some challenges that again we might be able to have. Because the Minister of Health was saying that as much as we've gone below 5%, but there are instances of again recurrence of this COVID. So how are we prepared for it?
So in your opinion, if you were to give recommendations as to, things that need to be done to ensure that, schools, learning institutions are safe places for both the teachers as well as the learners, what would those recommendations be?
Actually, for me, I'll not start from the school because school is just part of the society. If it is for the teachers, I'll start from the training colleges. I think the teachers need induction. I don't think it is a very low, this is the new normal. Are the teachers prepared to be able to go and teach the children? Because if the teachers are not ready to receive the children, I heard the NAT secretary saying we are ready to receive the children, but how ready are they when we know that COVID has changed everything? Secondly, I'll also start with the parents. I'll prepare the parents and actually I'll tell them what plans we've put in place to be able to protect their children. The same minister told us that life is more important than education. Because now, how do you ensure that right now, again, now education is going to be more important than life? So for me, that's another area I'll go to. Then number 3, I'll actually prepare the children. And that means that it will be a long process that we need to do that. By the time we are starting, everybody will be free to go to school. Remember, all these time children have been away, they have been growing, they have been eating. Some of the children will not even fit in their uniforms. Some of the children will not fit in their desks. What have we done? At the same time, we also don't know whether we have all the children because some children have also succumbed because of COVID and other things. So, and even take a roll call of, first of all, do we have the children? I'm happy that the government is working on the desks and the rest of the things. But the desks for who? We know there have been cases of many children who have gotten pregnant, many children who have gotten sick, some who have been hurt. Like I know in one school, a child was actually mauled by a lion in Kajiado, a Form 3 boy, and he died. How are we taking stock of these children so that when they go back to school, even the other children who are with them, they're also prepared psychological to know. I had a desk mate in March, but the desk mate is no longer there. What psychosocial preparation are we doing for these children? So it's actually, to me, it's a whole lot of process that all stakeholders should come together and think through so that we can be able to again recover and get our children to a situation where they can be in school comfortably, learn, and be able to reset their mind back into education.
Calling for behavior change, and for it to happen, we have to prepare parents, teachers, as well as the children. But now, before I let you go, Timothy, now let's talk about the issue of the curriculum, because this is something that has weighed heavily both on, stakeholders within the education sector, and this move is most likely what has informed, this planned, reopening, so that those who are to sit for the examinations this year get to do so without really much change. What is your take on regard to the curriculum at this point? Remember, we've been away for over 6 months now, or give or take, from school. How will we bridge that gap?
I want to say that there are so many milestones we want to work on this area, and maybe you've talked about curriculum. Curriculum is one of the areas, and we have the whole of KICD in this country, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. To me, this is the time they need to weigh in very heavily. They are the experts on the issue of curriculum. It is important for them now to come and look at the curriculum right now and talk about the examination classes. What do we do? And there are many options. Either decide to do an exam based on what the children learn, or maybe extend for some time for children to cover the curriculum and then be able to do exams, or even think about having a double intake for the exams at the end of next year. So to me, the options are many, but let them again be done in the best interest of the child, so that the children are also involved and they can also be able to give their views on it, because you also don't want to load the children. You don't want to really put too much pressure on them that they'll not be able to work. Then you also don't want to put too much pressure on the education system. Because remember, if at all they're doing exams next year, that's a double intake. It means we'll have Form 1s that are double, we'll have universities that they are double. What will that mean? Or can they make it, be able to extend it and change even the education curriculum so that we can have all children, because the idea of children going to school is exams is to test them and be able to move them to the next level. And it will actually not just be for examination class only. Even class 1, class 2 exams, they'll also be moving to another class. What is the best way? And it has a lot of discussion, a lot of advice from the curriculum development, and so they can be able to really reduce the competition, but also reduce the pressure of the system and the pressure of the parents, so that children can be able to go to school where they know the government thinks about us. Because why are we thinking about children so much is because they are the main resources for this country. They're the ones who will provide the whole employment. At the same time, they're the ones who are providing a big market for this country. So we cannot just switch them away. Corona has brought some challenges, but I'm sure we can work in it in a way that it can be useful for the whole country. And to me, and that's why I'm saying it's a conversation that the whole country shall have. It's not a conversation for a few people who will just sit down and make plans for the whole country. But we need a conversation the same way we are discussing about the issue of the two-third gender rule. It's the same way we should be talking about education and our system at this time.
Thank you very much, Timothy Ekesa, who is Executive Director of CARC, weighing in on our conversation this morning. A call for inclusive approach in as far as reopening and resumption of face-to-face learning is concerned. And he's pointed out to some loopholes, the issue of sensitization, especially to the parents and children, how, psychosocial preparation on, the reopening of the schools in light of this particular pandemic. We have seen statistics from the globe that other countries that have gone before us who have, reopened up the schools end up closing the schools once again due to high rate of infections. We're still having different views coming in to this to just weigh in on this conversation. And now we cross from Nairobi County. We head to Nakuru with Pius Maratani. Yes, Pius. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Regina. How are you? Thank you.
Good. Glad to have you on board. You have been listening in on various feed this morning in regard to just this particular conversation. What is your take about, the back to school or rather face reopening and resumption of face-to-face learning?
Thank you, Regina. Actually, as a parent, just like how other colleagues shared, we perplexed because what are the logistics that have been put here? There is not desks alone. We have some serious issues like now, some children, like the girls who have been impregnated. We have some children who have gone home. We have some children who are engaged in some activities, businesses, and many others. Now, why are we wishing so like that? Because before change to the tune of going to school, it will take some time. And why should it create a problem that we can solve? Yes, the situation is that. It's there. With that, then we are just doing the faith. So my take is, let's try. We are not hurry to go anywhere. Still, we just have to go to another year. And that is, if we can plan well to in January, it will be in a better position because even just years, they can back prepare. Because just swim around the compound or slashing the compound doesn't mean now we are prepared. There are so many other things we need to put in place. Just like lawyers were sharing. Imagine of assault. It will terrify the country. And it will have to is the whole plan, and it might take maybe even more than we could have wished on. Thank you, Regina.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Pius, for weighing in on this conversation there. I hear you saying that we need more time to better prepare for the resumption of face-to-face learning. Thank you very much for your take, just pointing out that we need to do better preparation. Now, joining me from, this is another, that's from Nakuru County. We don't know where Wamboi Mwaura is from, but good morning. Wamboi Mwaura, tell us where you're live from, please. Good morning, Wamboi Mwaura. It seems that we can't get Wamboi Mwaura. Let's cross over and have John weigh in on this morning's conversation. John, good morning.
Morning.
Good, John. Great to see you. How are you? John, we see you. We want to hear you. How are you this morning, John?
Good morning, Gina.
Good to see you. How is Kisumu? Are you still in Kisumu?
Yes, I'm Kisumu. In Kisumu, we are doing very, very well. And there are a lot of conversation about going back to school, and I'm happy you've brought this as a topic when we really needed it. We've had a number of forum with children who are really worried on exactly why, what has informed this. I think, to be honest, not every parent, not every child, not every school is ready. We had a discussion yesterday with the private sector who are confirming that they are not ready to open schools. So are we talking about opening for public schools or private schools? Because for me, Kenyan children, one of us talks about it, there is no private child, there is no public child in Kenya. All children belong to this country, and we need to take care of them equally. We are all worried because there seems not to be any clear conclusion on exactly what needs to be done. The teachers who are the people who will receive children directly are worried that they are not prepared. So I don't know, this preparation that we are talking about, it's being measured using what parameter? To me, I think as a parent, I'm worried. The children we have in the house are equally worried. They are wondering what exactly do we need to do. And for me, what is even paramount to this, the issue of school fees. There has been all sorts of complaints, not even complaints, just areas that needs to be clarified that the minister has not responded to. The children are asking, are we paying school fees for the whole year? Will we pay for third term, or how is it? So all these confusions, before they are addressed, for me, Regina, I'm afraid that we are letting our children yet to another level of confusion and problem that we might not be able to address. Thank you.
Very well said, very well articulated there. That is John Odror from Kisumu. Worried parents saying that there are a lot of uncertainties around this resumption of, phased out school reopening, saying that we need to make better arrangements. My next guest online. My next guest for this conversation. Wanambo. Okay, Wanambo. I am having a problem pronouncing that particular name, but yes, we are on. Yes, how about you just tell us where you're live from and give us a brief introduction of who you are and what you're currently engaged in, sir. Good morning. Wanambo, we have you on screen. We would want to now, we need to have this conversation with you. Good morning. Good morning, sir. How are you? Okay, fine. As you're getting ready to just set up that, let's introduce my other guest. Remember, the conversation is around the issue of, whether we are prepared to go back to school. And, this comes at a time when it has been said by various stakeholders that uninterrupted learning will solely depend on each student's willingness to adapt to the new normal. Now, Mabel, back in Kajiado, as we work towards getting to a close, or rather conclusion of this conversation, from where you sit, what do you think needs to be done to ensure that our children will be safe within their learning institutions, as also the caregivers who are going to be there, the subordinate staff, as well as the teachers? What do you think we need to do to ensure that our schools are not going to be a hub of disaster?
Well, Regina, just like I earlier on said, we need to seriously sensitize our parents. We need to sensitize the teachers. We need to sensitize the society in general. Let's not just normalize education by just going through school. We want to send our kids to school. We want them to get done over with their education, get their certificates, and at the end of the day, they just sit at home. Education, true education, is more than pursuing a certain course. It has to do with the whole person. It has to do with the whole period of the guidance of the kid being in school, from being kids to what? To sensible and to good human beings in the society. It's a harmonious development of the physical being and the mental being and a spiritual being of a person. Let's not just rush our kids. Let's not just do things for the sake of it.
Thank you very much, Mabel, for that. Let's not rush things. Let us better prepare. Now, my last guest for this morning, as far as KBC Kids Talk is concerned, is Wamboi from Kiambu. Good morning, Wamboi. How are you?
Morning. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. What is your take in regard to our conversation this morning? Are we ready? Are we not?
We are not ready, and I think we are ignoring the human element in this and looking at policies and politics and just insisting that things must happen. Let us look at the teachers, the parents, and the pupils. Look at what they have gone through, look at what lies ahead of them implementing this, and look at what the children face as they go to school, and consider that before we just say, give a blanket statement that let's go back to school. I'm from Kiambu, Children's Environmental, and others are with us in Children's Environmental Rescue. We believe the environment is very important, and also that the human element is even most important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is Wamboi from Kiambu. They're saying that we are ignoring the human aspect of all of this, bringing this conversation to a close in as far as how prepared or what is the status of our learning institutions ahead of the planned resumption, phased resumption of face-to-face learning. Parents have spoken. They say they're worried about this issue. A lot of uncertainties around the payment plan and also issues of the curriculum and in itself. While at the same time, the children have said the individuals, the ones who have come on board this morning, that is Kamau, who is 12 years old, Rogoro, who is 10, as well as Ruth Oguna, who is 14. And Ruth was to be a candidate this year, says they are ready to go back to school, but they're not so sure that their pupils and their fellow students are going to adhere to the laid down health protocols. So they're confident they want to go back, but are the school and learning institutions ready? Thank you very much for weighing in on this conversation. We bring Kids Talk to a close in that regard. Thank you everyone who participated in this conversation. But we are not done yet. It's matters of entertainment right here on KBC Channel 1, being Entertainment Thursday, the best way to start your morning.
Let me tell you something, Jane. Songa huku ati we are not here dance, sijui nini. Mpaka unataka kuanguka.
You want to drop me on set.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Regina. Happy birthday to you.
How old are you? You want me to say that on above 18? Forever 18.
It's something I've always realized.
Yes.
Every time unaimbiwa happy birthday, what should be your reaction?
You never know what to do.
You never know what to do. Like you're like, no.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Very well.
Celebrating another year?
Indeed.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
The livestock keepers of the arid lands in northern Kenya who have now embraced farming are standing to be counted.
Wakati tulianza ilimaliza kujenga hii greenhouse, tulianza kupanda haba kwa nyanya.
This week on Project 254.
Shamba hiyo unafaa sisi sana, sababu yake ile matunda yanatoka sisi na peleka soko.
Watch it on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
On the next episode of
Mimi hata sina shida na huyu, nina shida na haka mimi.
Mzee Masudi, we, tuheshimiane. Hili wewe ona mimi nauza watu sio?
Wewe mtu, mimi mwenyewe nina miaka 18, nina passport, nina ID. Wewe mimi ni mtu mzima. Upo? Zuena.
Sasa unataka nini wewe? Unataka nini?
Uniaibisha yule. Zuena, mbona uniaibisha hivyo wewe?
Tujali kazi zenu
this weekend on KBC Channel 1.
I want to move in with you.
No,
No, Cynthia, no way, no way, no way.
Why, baby? I like you like me. What else do we need? Stupidity of the highest order. What kind of a man are you?
Sizia yewo sindabundili nengalo navulawa Julia. You know, Michelle, you keep blaming this man. But you should ask yourself, what drove him to me in the first place? And of course, we can agree, beauty is far from it. Jungle B.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Ash clouds we saw over Iceland are nothing compared to what's going to happen next.
Firefighters are attempting to contain the inferno.
You really need to start evacuating as much as possible. Of Wyoming? Of North America.
Two experts
Tell me what your plan is to stop it.
racing against time
We would need to inject this directly into the magma.
to battle mankind's greatest threat, Earth itself.
All right then, let's do it. Josh, quickly move!
Nobody gets left behind. Gotta get out of here, okay?
The end is just the beginning. Super eruption.
SHI RKO
Muda mwingine ukika unawaza kwa nini mambo hayaendi sawa, labda pengine watu wanakukwaza, hawakupendi, wanakuona chawa. Ukiendelea kidogo tu tatizo, wanataka uishi maisha maigizo, ikose furaha iende likizo, usikate tamaa, ndo maana nataka ujitume, jitume, ulisukume. Maisha ni changamoto na si rahisi kuitimiza ndoto, nataka ujitume, gurudumu lisukume, ili uwake moto lazima.
Entertainment Thursday it is. Good morning, Kenya, and welcome to the program. My name is Samuel Njoroge. We are kicking it off on a high because in just a short while we will be crossing over to the Pass Out Parade that will be happening anytime from 9. And of course, parents and family and friends of those who will be passing out today are watching the show. So we'll make sure that we keep this as brief as possible. Now, at one point, I'm very sure you saw a clip making rounds on social media about a Hispanic who was doing music in our local dialect. He's done Kikuyu, he's done Kamba, a little bit of Spanish too, and that is the gentleman I would like to interact with this morning, together with another lady who's doing phenomenal things in as far as the gospel industry is concerned. Should we go ladies first? Okay, I introduce to you the lady. Her name is Miriam Samuel. Welcome to the program, Miriam.
Thank you.
A pleasure to be hosting you this morning, and also in studio with me is Iguazu, but we know him as Nduati. Ndiye huyo. How are you, sir? Good morning to you too, and welcome to the program. Maybe let me begin by understanding a little bit about yourself, Iguazu. Should I call you Nduati now?
Yeah, you can.
It's okay, right? Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Were you born here? Did you move here? Stuff like that.
Okay, I was born in South America, but I was born again in Kenya.
Then I used to say that I have a spiritual identity because I was even made a preacher here in Kenya.
Ooh, in one of the churches,
yeah,
I
so
take
I'm
it.
attached to you.
Oh, nice. Which year did you get born again?
Pentecostal.
Ah, Pentecostal.
Yeah, and in South America, Catholic.
Uh-huh.
But what I have insist always, the baptism is an act of love, and you don't path away from love.
That's true.
You remain there.
It never ends, and it never fails. What of you, Miriam? A bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Miriam Samuel. I was born in Kweni, a place called Sultan Hamid, along Mombasa Road. But right now I live at Gom, Yalo County.
Okay, and talking about your music, if you get to your music, Nduati, what is this that made you concentrate on doing music in local dialect?
The thing is, we may believe that we are moving from ourselves, but there is a bigger power behind us moving everything and deciding everything which is good. My journey through the vernaculars started after an accident where the doctors were telling that I was not going to walk in 10 years, but I walked in less than 4 months. And from there I composed only one song in Spanish telling God thank you, and it was the song who opened the doors of the social media of Kenya, and now my new fans put me in the situation. You have to decide. In Kenya you cannot serve the two masters, whether you're a gospel or you're a vernacular or you're a secular artist. And then I say, it is true, God has left me no doubt about it. So, but if I have to decide to be a gospel artist, I will do with the two songs I already know from gospel, and those were Emoyo and Iwaranono, and here I am.
Emoyo,
Jeso, Emoyo, Emoyo, Jeso, Emoyo, Emoyo, Jeso, Emoyo, Nekyo Teraina, Netoro, Emoyo.
Okay, we apologize for the quality of our sound in as far as Miriam is concerned, but maybe now we can come to you, Miriam, a bit about yourself, your music, and what has brought you this far.
Well, about my music, I compose my music based on I'm inspired by my own story to write my own music, and not alone my own story, but for the love of God. I love God. My own story has made me to love God more, and so I write my music and produce because God has done for me something.
What
and
is that thing God has done for you?
Okay, I'm a cancer survivor. In the year 2000, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, stage 4. I went through the cancer process treatment, that is radiotherapy, chemotherapy, surgery. As I sit here, I have 1 kidney. And after 13 good years of treatment, I was declared that I'm cancer-free. And from that time, I realized that God loves me so much and He wants me to serve Him. Yes.
Whoa, 13 years.
Yes.
Battling cancer. And here you were telling what God has done to you or done for you through your experiences. Maybe you can share with the viewer. In 13 years, you were battling cancer.
Yes.
What was the most defining moment for you?
The 13 good years were not easy for me. At that time, I was a small child, and it was hard for me to comprehend the things that I was going through. So I think the whole 13 years were just time of reflection and just connecting with God and telling God that if you give me another chance, I will serve you.
Amen.
I will always serve you.
And that's, I remember you've mentioned that as you sit there, you have 1 kidney.
Yes.
Did you have to go through a transplant to have that one? Did you lose your original kidneys, or what exactly happened?
I lost 1, my right kidney, and I was left with 1.
Okay.
Yes.
We thank God for your life.
Amen.
We really do. Coming back to you, Nduati.
Yes.
As you do music.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm seated here. One is a cancer survivor. The other survived an accident. So clearly there's a story being told through this platform this morning. What made you, Nduati, decide that, you know what, I'm from South America, yes, but I'm making Kenya my home, and not only my home, but my area of ministry?
The thing is, There is nothing that human being cannot give you more than what God can give you. And this is a calling for all the youth who want to try into the gospel music in any field that you want to try. Everything is possible for those one who believe. Serve your God. Ask for favor. Favor is more than money. Here where you see me, I have not paid to any social media where I have been until I decided for Jesus. That's what made me to be convinced completely that this is the way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Favor will open doors, money cannot, influence cannot. It's just a question of favor, you know. And Miriam, in as far as your music is concerned, when did you start singing? When did you realize that you have that gift? And how has the growth been since then?
I realized that I have singing gift when I was just a toddler. At 4 years, I could sing in Sunday schools, in congregations.
Or you could cry melodically.
Yes, I grew up singing.
You could cry with a melody.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. So now after my experience, that's when I decided now I want to go, I want to record now music. And in the year 2018, that's when I recorded my first song, Sifa. Yeah, in Sifa I was saying I can't keep quiet. I just want to express what I feel for God. Yes. After
what He's done for you.
Yes.
And you know, this goes to you, Ndwati and Miriam. Stories have been told about gospel ministry, especially when it comes to praises and songs and all. I don't know what your stand is. We've seen gospel musicians say, okay, I'm no longer in the gospel ministry, I'm in the gospel industry, right? And we've seen them deviate from making the music for ministry and they make music for money. And they say the hustle is real. So I don't know what you have to say about that. I'll begin with you, Ndwati.
I want you, the young people of this country, look at your faces and at the health of your elders. We don't have the expectancy of life that they still have. Still up now, we don't have the energy they have when they dance and when they sing their own music. There is a vacuum, and I will join all of you in that area. It is like when our parents do things and write music, they write with content, with passion and believing in what they are doing. And there you have music for history and for the world and forever. Emoyo yeso, ni waranono, muyayo sanguma, asimukuhe, I used to call them.
Yeah.
Those are the treasures inside a treasures box called Kenya. Believe it, I can see it. I'm expecting you to do so.
We feel the vacuum.
Yes.
Because it is there. What of you, Miriam?
Yes, the vacuum is there. But what I can say about that is that we live because of God. We can't do anything without God. You can have that man, but man is vanity without God. So I want to say the way Joshua said in the Bible, you choose whom you want to serve. But just for me and my family, I'll serve God. So for me, I'm in the music ministry, gospel ministry, not industry.
Not the industry.
Yes.
Oh, nice. That's good clarification coming from our guest this morning. But also, I remember you must have felt something, Ndwati, when you saw your clips doing rounds on social media. It must have brought out something in you. Maybe you can take time and share with us, seeing Kenyans react to you the way they did, embracing you the way they did, and you getting the inspiration to even go a notch higher. What does that make you feel?
Man, the same brother who I walk with, because he entered to the room and I say, just like that, he said, what do you think if I try to walk? And there I was in the bed where I only could move my face. And I said, okay, try, and he laughed. They say that faith is that invisible power that you can use it when you want. Okay, go ahead. I dropped my hand over the blanket and I pulled and I sat down. Less than 4 months I was walking. When the doctors were shocked, it couldn't have happened. The same doctors called me to go to the hospital. Neither I have listened, neither I have studied, and this is a miracle. Yeah. Only that. So this is what God can do for you, human being cannot do. Then When I record my song, the song went immediately to the Kenyan diaspora in the US and in the United Kingdom. A short video me singing a moyo a cappella, neither the video itself. And I said, the same brother who I work with from New York has sent me the video. I was a brother. What is happening in Kenya? This video is in all the Facebook group and WhatsApp group of Africans here in New York. This is what God can do. I didn't pay anything for that. That is more than money. People believe in.
You didn't need to know a producer somewhere. You didn't need to pay anyone anywhere.
Anyone, anywhere.
God did it for you. Miriam,
yes,
your journey from Sifa,
yes,
all through to the recent tracks that you've done, what can you say has been the most defining moment for you? What can you say has been the point of growth in as far as how Kenyans have received your music this far?
I want to say that I've been growing from one track to another, from when I did Sifa to now when I've done Watosha. God has been faithful. I've seen his favor. Have experienced his favor working within me. Yes, it has not been easy pushing the music around, but I thank God for the people whom he has given me, who are receiving my music in a nice way.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. And you know what, guys? We could be here talking to the lady and the gentleman, Miriam and Iguazu, about their music, their journey so far. And you're wondering, sasa hii mziki yao iko wapi? You know what? It's ready. It's here for you in the offing. I believe we'll begin with Miriam, then Iguazu, or Iguazu, then Miriam, whichever order. Be blessed. That is Miriam Samuel there with one of her tracks. I believe it's Sifa.
Fayungi.
Oh, that one. She will teach me how to pronounce it right. But we need a break. When you're back, more with Iguazu Nduati right here on the show together with Miriam Samuel.
Excuse me, who is this trying to call me with his gadget? Please, before you call me Professor Ouma, you should have a telecommunicative device. My friend, we professors, we do not walk, we locomote. We do not drive problem boxes, yani probox.
To get Professor, bonyeza *811 *759 hash. Dial *811 *759 hash.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1 for a program that is objective and offers answers to matters economic, security, social, political, food, infrastructure, and setting the agenda. Join us for Charging Currents.
The livestock keepers of the arid lands in northern Kenya who have now embraced farming are standing to be counted.
Wakati tulianza ilimaliza kujenga hii greenhouse, tulianza kupanda haba kwa nyanya.
Watch it on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Next on
Million faces around the world, but one thing is the same. In their eyes I can see light calling out your name.
Ibada zote ambazo zinaweza kufanyika ndani ya msikiti bado tunaweza kuzifanya manyumbani mwetu, kama vile itikaf ama kusoma Qur'ani, kusali tarawih na mengine mengi ambayo ungetamani kuyafanya ndani ya msikiti, kwa sababu msikiti ni jumba tu, lakini swala na ibada zote zipo kila mahali, kama anavyosema Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kwenye Qur'ani, wa anna masajida lillah.
Ya qalbu inni qad ataytuka nasihan farba bi nafsi.
On the next episode of
Mimi hata sina shida na huyu, nina shida na haka mimi.
Mzee Masudi, we, tuheshimiane. Wewe unaona mimi nauza watu, sio?
Wewe mtu, mimi mwenyewe nina miaka 18, nina passport, nina ID. Wewe mimi ni mtu mzima. Upo? Zuena.
Sasa ushakazana nini wewe? Ushakazana nini?
Uniaibisha yule. Zuena, mbona uniaibisha hivyo wewe?
Tujali kazi zenu
this weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tutaangua vifaranga tukitumia incubator, kisha tukuze tomato.
Kazi ya kuku nimeianza huo mwaka wa 2015, na kile kilinifanya nianze kazi ya kuku kwa sababu niliona kama hiyo ndio biashara unaweza fanya kuanzia na pesa yote yenye uko nayo.
Basi ungana nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 kamili tukupe mseto kamili wa kilimo.
big shout out to whoever is watching the show this morning. I mean, from you back there at home, our corporate sponsors, our corporate, friends and family. We love you all. Our sister stations, keep watching the show. It's the only way to start your day. I mean, good morning, Kenya. See, Chocha, it is what it is, right here on KBC Channel 1, the leading broadcaster. All right? So still here with Iguazu, Nduati. I wouldn't get over calling him Nduati because he's done music in so many local dialects, some of which I don't even know. I mean, amepursue all this. Mi Kikuyu yangu nikiongea ifike mahali fulani tunaachana, but for him he's gone further. He's done Kamba, he's done this. He's, beautiful people on set today, talking about Miriam Samuel, whose journey with cancer 13 years inspired her and gave her a story and testimony that has so far given her a ministry within the gospel sector, and she is doing it a big. No, she's not Eunice Njeri's younger sister, Apana. She is Miriam Samuel, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It's a pleasure to continue having you, and I don't know whether Emoyo is ready. Can we play that? Yeah, we'll be getting him where there it goes.
To learn. Atonya kadene wa anake agatsuta meya magadira anake magarogera jesu neke odera inane todo gemoyo. Atonya kadene wa aire tu agatsuta meya magadira aire tu magarogera jesu neke odera inane. Emoyo, emoyo, emoyo.
Wow, what a challenge. How so? Millennials. Kuna mzungu anaongea Kikuyu na anaongea Kikuyu vile inafaa. Aterere kwera waterere. Please spare us. Okay, but thank you so much for being a part of the show this far. My name is Samuel Njoroge. Karibu sana to Entertainment Thursday, hanging out with Iguazu, popularly known as Ndwati. Clearly, you've seen it over there, and Miriam Samuel, both of whom have inspirational stories that have guided the ministry this far. Coming to you, Miriam, what exactly informs the choice of video location? When you're shooting and everything, and you're sitting down with your producer, what are the 3 things you look out for in a location as an artist?
I like nice places. I love nature. And most of the time you'll see nimeshoot kwa vichaka. But my director directs me most of the time. He directs me. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So nice places,
yes,
good direction.
Yeah.
And what was the third one?
The love.
The love.
Yeah.
Nice. And coming to you, Wasu, we've just seen your music video right there, and you preferred a football setting, beach setting, and all that. What inspired that? Maybe you can tell us.
The thing is, if you look to what is the secret of the success about Emoyo, Emoyo reached in the middle of the World Cup, and this is, I will say with all the humility, God talks in the most simple way, in the most simple places. Two surprising things that I received with Emoyo was in the middle of World Cup, I received video of Brazilians in my social media using their chests, trying to imitate me singing Emoyo in the way they could in their Portuguese language. And from Roche, I received another message, Prosto class video. Then what I look in the videos, like normally I dream when I am going to write a song, and in some of them I have done like 30 days of fast and praying. And what I always look is to bring the cameraman to have his own dialogue with God. And I tell him, please pray for this, and then tell God, this is what it was to want, this is what has crossed to my mind, but let your will be done. And that is what has happened in the music. If you see, for example, one example of Emoyo, if you notice, there is a part where the rainbow appear. But then when the cameraman is not much associated, he will put their mind more in the commercial thing than in how God talks, and God has a way of talking.
Yeah.
In my Kalenji video game, Mount Netlil, I was singing to the 3 Kalenjin children that were sitting in a wood, and I am singing "O Holy Night," and 2 cows arrived, and I started to push the feet of the children. It's just a higher. And then if you see a simuku happen, other thing. Engage yourself with God when you are doing your video, and ask Him, talk in the video, and let your will be done, not the will of the people around.
Presence.
Yes.
Even with the crew and everyone else who is involved in that shooting, up and including the venue, there has to be the presence. And it has to be prayed upon and prayed for. Let me come to you, Miriam.
Yes.
And this is a little bit personal. I mean, when you reflect on who you are, where would you want to be in the next 5 years of your music ministry?
I'm trusting God's process. I want Him to lead me. You know, many are our plans, but it's God who actualizes them. So I want to be at international. I want to go far with music, but still I'm trusting God to lead me, to lead the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. What have you, Ndwati? Where would you like to be in the next 5 years of your ministry?
Listen, my mother, I am appointee, what you call here appointee. We are 8 children, but my mother is white and my father is Afro-descendant, it's like you. And my mother, not only for the love of my father, is her own mother as well was the same color skin of my father. My mother immediately sees someone, she will say, I would love to have your color. And when I was coming to this country, something that I will never forget, my mother told me, I promise you, I'm going to live with you in that country. And she was the happiest, knowing that I was coming here to Kenya. And listen, here in Kenya, the bread of love, food has never lacked in my table. So never turn your destiny to where God doesn't want. Follow the way of love. I'm totally sure I am in the way my mother is in heaven, happy that I am here with all of you, because love surrounding me in Kenya. I don't have anything else in my brain to be. I would love to be here in Kenya, serving my God here in the way I have learned from you, in the way I have learned from your parents.
Wow, that's deep. I feel like we should take a comic relief. We're not taking a break though. We're just going to shift to random questions that I'm going to be throwing to Miriam and Iguazu, that is Nduati. I'd like to begin with you. Miriam, what's your favorite color?
Yellow.
It had to be yellow.
Yes.
I got the sunshine. It got to be yellow for our Kamba ladies and gentlemen. What have you, Iguazu?
Blue.
What's your favorite meal, by the way?
My favorite meal? Promise you will believe me.
Sorry?
Promise you will believe me.
Yes, I will.
Mutura. I love it. I love it, literally.
The one they sell, napata msewa mutura pale.
Yeah, I can say mutura and as well nyama choma, guachea makorofia. I can have breakfast with that happily.
Don't we all love our voice? They sneak themselves into a conversation and we just love and appreciate them. Miriam,
yes.
Your favorite hangout and pass out time?
Somewhere where I can listen to music. Yes, I like to associate myself with people who love music, but I also love serving. That's why I'm a social worker professionally, and I serve children.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, that's nice. Yeah. Social worker serving children. And you enjoy cooking?
Yes, yes.
What is your favorite meal to fix? Like yenye unapenda kupika sana?
Rice and beef stew.
This happens to be your favorite dish also?
Yes.
Okay. So, because interestingly, there are people who find fixing rice easy, but actually their favorite meal is ugali. So kudos to you. If someone was to ask you, Nduati, what is the best, best inakuanga very easy to answer. What is that one thing that you're not comfortable with as a person, as a human being?
With you?
No, when you look at yourself, Nduati, you say, if I could improve on this, that would be fantastic. It could be in your personality, in your character, I don't know. Tell us.
Well, me, I'm a teacher as well.
You teach which school?
No. I was a lecturer in South America.
Oh, you are a lecturer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and in my family, just my father was a teacher as well and was a farmer. One thing that made me disappoint about myself is when I am not reaching to the people to see the potentials that they do have. There are talented people here, and I feel so frustrated that they don't believe sometimes in themselves and their capacity to do. Okay, let's take it short. Let's go now in a sport ability. I'm a runner of long distance, and this accident that happened to me happened when I was training for Lewa. When you see how many medals you make in the Olympic Games, it's just like taking water for you, something that imply and demand a lot of effort, a lot of resilience for you is nothing. Then what you are not able to do, everything that you want to do is possible for you.
Absolutely.
That's it.
It's very possible, so long as you believe in yourself.
Exactly.
And you believe you have the talent.
Exactly.
If you had an opportunity to work with any musician, any artist, Miriam Samuel, who would it be and why?
Well, I love Evelyn Wanjiru. I love the zeal she has in music. I love Masika too. So if I were given an opportunity, I'd love to do one with them.
Why Wanjiru and Masika?
The passion and the the content in their music and how they do it. They do it with passion.
Right.
Yes.
The passion for what they do and how they actually choose to do it.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Iguazu?
I think there are three ladies that represent Kenya strongly in the minister, or at least in the minister that I like. Those are Mercy Masika, Evelyn Wanjiru, and Emmy Kosgei. The three are coming from three regions of Kenya, bringing a lot of rich in their culture, and they are strong believers. I really admire the three of them.
Take it in. Take it in right there. Do you know what? More of their music, even as we continue with this discussion, is what is coming up. But don't you go anywhere. Good Morning Kenya is still on air.
Traders of long distance, your prayers to the throne of grace. Muyayo sangumba wiki bila ni chusumbe. Muyayo sangumba wiki bila ni chusumbe. Ajajajajajaj, satani wewe musinde. Ajajajajaj, satani wendu ina muhanya. Anake metangi wanundu wewe musumbe. Twilitu twitangi wanundu wewe musumbe. Ibeti simuosa Yesu nundu niwe musumbe. Atumia makamuosa nundu niwe musumbe. Ajajajajaj, satani wewe musinde. Ajajajajaj, satani wendu ina muanya. Ingai sitangi wanundu Yesu ni musumbe. Ao imemuosa Yesu nundu niwe musumbe. E asia ukai kuwake inyue ala munorete. E muya muke kuwake mukwate udumuko. Ajajajajaj, satani wendu musinde. Ajajajajaj, satani wendu ina muanya. Let's go! Follow my eastern star. Minha estrela. Kase, try to repeat it. Ana kama takuya nunu wewe musume, tuli tututania nunu wewe musume, ibeti simuosa Yesu ni wewe musume, atumia makamuosa nunu ni wewe musume. Who can do this? Okay, let's do it. Pole, 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 pole. Yes, follow me, follow me. Así. Anake metangi wanundu wewe musumbe. Twilitu twitangi wanundu wewe musumbe. Ibeti simuosa Yesu nundu niwe musumbe. Atumia makamuosa nayu nikuseo. Inge sitangi wanundu Yesu ni musumbe. Aho imemuosa Yesu nundu Iguazu. Okay, let's try to do it fast again. Your turn. Ana kama takuya nunu wewe musume, tuli tututania nunu wewe musume, ibeti simuosa Yesu ni wewe musume, atumia makamuosa nunu ni wewe musume. Inge isi tanguga nunu Yesu ni musume, au imemuosa Yesu ni wewe musume, ese kwe kwake ala munu ate, emu ya muka kwake. Hi! God bless you, Kenya. And you, devil, dinaku. Aha, ja, 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 satani wewe musinde. Aha, ja, 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 satani wendu inamuanya. Kwenda wetu.
Well, Miriam and Iguazu, it's official. You guys are doing a collabo. And please bring it right here. We launch it for you because this is amazing. I mean, we've had quite a lot of fun having this discussion. I'd like to come to you, Miriam. What do you think about what you've just seen, even as you give us your parting words?
Hey,
Huh?
he's amazing. You have challenged me. You know more Kamba than me.
Yeah. Nice. Your final words, Miriam.
My final words are, okay, thank you, everyone who has been watching. And I hope we have blessed you. And my request is that please support our music. Go to YouTube, search for Miriam Samuel, subscribe, watch what we are doing there. I have like 3 videos there, watch them there, and God will bless you. From my story, there's someone somewhere who's giving up right now. Please don't give up. God is able. If He healed me stage 4 cancer, I'm living with 1 kidney, but God has given me enough strength to move on. I even forget sometimes whether I have 1 kidney. So don't give up. Look up to Jesus. He's able. He's a healer, and He heals completely because I'm healed completely.
Nice.
Yes.
He who the Son sets free is free indeed.
Amen.
That's true. Iguazu, final words.
I would like to address to all the young people as well. See, and let's not go far, let's go to Africa as a continent. And I can tell you something. Kenya is what it is because of your parents. And you have the capacity to make it even better than they have done. You have only to turn as they believe in themselves, in their faith, in the capacity to be and to construct and bring new things. You have the same capacity. And they have given you what they didn't have at your age. So start to be a solution. Every time, even the student in the university, you are researchers. When you see things that areas of opportunity, bring solution together with them. Let's start. Always we are complaining about our own parents, but guess what? One day we will reach there, and maybe we will not have the same capacity. So always bring, whenever you see something that you want to improve, look for the solution because it's in you and you can find it.
Absolutely. I can't even add anything. You know, it has been said, you've heard it. All we can say is that thank you so much for watching Good Morning Kenya today. Thank you, Iguazu for coming through. Thank you, Miriam Samuel, too, for coming through. And we wish you all the best in both your present and future endeavors, which actually include a collabo, and we're looking forward to that. All right, guys? Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. Now, we need to wind up the show. But before we do, I leave you with a feature that Regina Manyara did from Heart of Hope. This is a group of young people who've come together to polish their talent, polish their art through performing arts. She did that, and after that, we'll be proceeding on with programming. Thank you so much for watching the show. The only way to kickstart your morning, it has been our pleasure kickstarting your day every Monday to Thursday this far. Let's keep the drill rolling, all right? Come next week, we shall be right here on Monday. Sa. God bless you all. Have a fantastic day and weekend ahead.
Quarantine, curfew, lockdown. These terms are not new during the COVID-19 times as the globe tries to come to terms with the COVID disruptions.
Oh, about the cough. No, I just think a slight change of weather that I came from Nairobi yesterday. Yes. With a slight fever.
Fever?
No, I'm okay, bro. I'm okay. I don't need a doctor at the moment. I'm okay.
However, for a youth group in Kisumu County, under the Art of Hope group, the performing arts have provided a safe haven.
Don't judge me, Ma. I say don't judge me. Ma. What is it?
Mom, I want money.
I don't have money.
Mom, you have money to drink, but you don't have money to drink.
Can you have a taste?
I don't want your thing nonsense.
Can you have a taste?
Mom, I don't want it. Mom, I want money for sanitary.
I don't have money.
Mom.
Yeah.
Mom.
I don't have money.
No wonder Dad left you nonsense.
Teresia! Teresia! How many times did I call you?
I'm sorry.
Yes, no, I'm not your mom. I'll take you back to your mother's grave. Have you had me? What are you doing?
I was washing.
I was letting go. Have you washed the utensils? Have you gone to the market? Stupid rubbish. When selfish oranges, faster, stupid.
We started this group majorly because during this COVID-19 pandemic, there was a lot of idleness with the teenagers and mostly the youths. They were getting indulged into so many activities like bad groups, drugs addiction, and early teenage pregnancy, which is still occurring into the country. So basically or majorly we started the group so as youths we can come together, put our minds together and do things that help us as youths in our future.
Statistics currently indicate that the pandemic has exacerbated their desperate situation, with no school, no socializing, and some even having to take up parental roles.
The boys who are around this place, some of them they only engage in some things that aren't even helping them. For instance, some of them engage in drug addiction. Some of them do things like going to the discos, fighting, like they don't really do things that are really helping them. But because some of them are my friends and some of them are people friends, so we said tell a friend to tell a friend. So when we said tell a friend to tell a friend, they all started coming in as boys and girls. So because now we are boys and girls, the boy-girl thing is now related, and we said that let us all do one thing in one accord and in one mind.
It is very hard to support boy and girl child together because we don't have any donor who support this apart from the CAC people who have come inside it to help us. My prayer, I'm asking that we need to roll this program to many kids, especially for the boys and the girls too, so that we can bring them together and join them. As you see, we are in church. This church, we were just given by one of the young boys whose father is a pastor in the church. I am an Adventist, but I didn't see any bad problem to come into.
As this future remains uncertain, this group of youth say that the lack of support is hampering their would-be growth, and they're calling and appealing for support from all stakeholders.
Our Heart of Hope comprises of both boys and girls, and we have talents and we are very good people. So right now we are being supported by CAC and our well-able matron, Madam Irene. But we would like to ask for more support from the county government and from other organizations who are willing to help us. We want to go far, we have a vision, we have a mission, and we want to go beyond the borders of Kenya.
As the country continues to grapple with COVID disruptions, these youth here, members of Heart of Hope in Kisumu, have decided to take charge of their lives. They have decided that they can do it, but they need yours and my help. They're saying it's everyone on board, whether boys or girls, together for strength and for prosperity. I'm Regina Manyara reporting from Kisumu County.
Presented by Heart of Hope.
RKO. Muda mwingine ukika unawaza kwa nini mambo yaendi sawa, labda pengine watu wanakukwaza, hawakupendi, wanakuona chawa. Ukiendelea kidogo tutatizo, wanataka uishi maisha maigizo, ikose furaha iende likizo, usikate tamaa, ndo maana nataka jitume, ulisukume. Maisha ni changamoto na si rahisi kuitimiza ndoto, nataka ujitume, gurudumu lisukume. Ili uwake moto lazima kuni siungue. Uwe kaka pambana, uwe dada pambana, na hali yako mwisho utafanikiwa. Uwe baba pambana, uwe mama pambana, na hali yako mwisho utafanikiwa. Ukianza biashara yako ndogo, watakuiga, wakishindwa wataiponda, na ukinyamaza watakuona mdogo, watakupinga, watavunja moyo, utakonda. Sio peke yako, Kenyatta naye alipambana, cheki sasa tulipo. Mekatilili na yalingangana, ona sasa tulipo. Sasa we ni nani, usipambane ufike uendako, mana usilewe sifa, jikusanye kisha jengi maisha yako.
kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai.
He's an awesome God, amenipa such an awesome song. And I'm never lonely, amenipa such an awesome love. He is an awesome God, and I wanna tell it to the world. Ili wajue ni wewe, kama si wewe basi nani?
Asikia landlord ako kwa njia anataka kodi, ni wewe uta provide. Na nina ngori moyoni zinanijaza wori, ila nitakuwa fine.
El Shaddai, uko na kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai, uko na kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai.
And every day is an awesome day. Na vile unanibariki hata mimi sielewi. And every day you come through in an awesome way. Kwenye dhiki nimepata rafiki wa kweli.
Na kuna kaloni mahali kananijaza wori, ni wewe uta provide. Nina mahari natamani kulipia mpenzi, sote tutakuwa fine. Na madaktari wanasema hali siyo hali, wewe unajua time. Na hisi nguvu zako kwangu, I will call you El Shaddai.
El Shaddai,
El Shaddai,
ulinipenda hata kama misifai.
hata kama mimi sifai.
El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai, uko na kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai, uko na kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai, uko na kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai.
Dear Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I know I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
El Shaddai, uko na kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai, uko na kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Shaddai, uko na kile minadai, ulinipenda hata kama misifai.